the first day of my university was a field trip to London where our site was. So I was like, am I going to know them or not? I don't know how they look, what kind of people they would be, how they would be dressed. Because eventually when you are there, you are put into that space, that area, that situation, and then you have to take steps. I was so amazed by the area the university was in. It's so lush and green, where there's no one to tell you what to do. You can do whatever you want on your own.
But still you stick to what you're supposed to do.
Networking is one of the key essentials. Although the field is same, the sector is same, but the way of working and everything is different. They give a brief scenario of what they are gonna teach and what would be the subjects and everything. If you really want to go there, you need to work hard.
Hello everyone, this is Mansi Kakkad from Saarthi Education. Welcome to our channel, Saarthi Education Foundation. Today with us, we have a very special guest, Miss Devanshi Khant. She is our alumni of Saarthi Education. She has done her masters in architecture from a very prestigious university in UK, the Cardiff University. Cardiff University is known for their programs from architecture to designs. A very lovely university and in the heart of the UK. With her, today we are going to share what exactly it is to be an international student and how did she made it to United Nations for the internship. Stay tuned for entire episode and let's see how or what hardworking actually means. So Devanshi, tell us about your journey of your masters and how was your experience in UK.
So, yes, sure. So, I did my master's in architectural design from a very good university, Cardiff University, which is in Wales in UK.
Right.
So, I wanted to do my architecture master's in somewhere in Europe, because Europe is somehow well known for architecture, and that's how I had a wish to do it somewhere in Europe. And so I chose Cardiff University with the help of your help.
Thank you. I guess it was rather very important for us to, have students who know their ask. I remember when you walked in and you were very sure. Like, I know that you've done your bachelor's from Nirma University here, and then you wanted to match up the same level of education abroad. So, yes, of course, I do remember students like this, who are strong enough to have their wishes commandedly done and sorted nicely. And you specifically wanted to do it from some spatial design, as far as I know. There was some different course that you wanted to do. So what exactly was your aspiration behind doing masters in architecture or the designs that you just said?
So the main thing was I wanted to do it in architecture itself, and further into it, I really like design aspect in the entire architecture field. So designing it and how to bring an idea into a concept and then into drawings and then onto the live examples. So I was particularly interested in that section of my field, and that's why I was so
adamant about it.
That I want to do in this field. Right. Whichever university you give me options, I am willing to do in this. I'm not willing to have an option of doing it in some other major or something.
Right. I know that was really nice to actually send a student to the Cardiff University. What about your experiences there? How it was, or was it very overwhelming, or what was it very okay for you to settle yourself out there? What was your journey in UK like once you walked in there?
Once I walked in, I landed in London, Heathrow, and it didn't seem that this is an airport.
Right.
Heathrow, it's a very old. Personally, I had that vibe that I got that thought that okay, this is okay. But then I went out of the airport and I saw London there, and I met my family there. So it was really nice of them welcoming me. It was a nice gesture of having someone of my own there to welcome me, because it's a very odd feeling when you leave all of your family members from here and you go to a very different land where you have none of your friends.
I understand.
Yeah.
Should be like, you packing all your memories and then you are going to start your own new So what about the university? How like your orientations were, or like you were given any special training, or you had counselors, or how was your transition in education, like in masters? How the experience was?
Yeah. So my transition, it was actually during when I started to do masters. It was during COVID period.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So I actually, my course started in September, but I did my 1 month online. I studied 1 month online from here, and then landed exactly a month somewhere in October there. And the first day of my school or my university was a field trip to London, where our site was. And so I met all of my classmates and my professor at the train station. So I was like, am I going to know them or not? I don't know how they look, what kind of people they would be, how they would be dressed. And it was COVID, so it was essential to wear masks on top of it. So I was supposed to, have a gut feeling of, okay, these bunch of group looks like a student and a professor. So they
have to be one group.
Yeah.
I think that's what requires a lot of strength, and I think this goes as a shout out to all the international students, be it ours or other companies, people who are actually going abroad. Like how overwhelming it is for you people to go there, meet new bunch of people, make friends. I think this demands a lot of strength and a lot of confidence to go out of your way and make a journey of your own, like build your own world.
Yeah, I think because eventually when you are there, you are put into that space, that area, that situation,
right.
And then you have to take steps. Otherwise it's worthless to not to take steps, and then it's pointless of being there to what you have come travel so far, right, to achieve something there.
Right. So like if I'm to just put it in 2 words, right, just 2 words, what actually helped you to sustain yourself there? Like what was your survival skill?
My survival skill was actually, I am a very good student, if I could say. I like to read and study. That's
excellent.
So that's what kept me there. And it's also the weather and the places to explore. My journey to sustain there was one of the major track that put me on the track, or that was to keep me on the track, was my education, because I really like studying, and that's what I went there to do, to pursue my further education. So that was keeping me in line. Apart from that, I am an architecture student, so I like to explore places and cities, and so I would just it was a new experience to go to a different city and to see different architecture styles. And UK, especially in Cardiff, it's mostly based on stone architecture. I know I'm saying too many.
No, but then come on, that's what actually we are here to know. See, I think that it is very important for everyone listening to this episode is to know that as a student, what you have survived is something that they can learn, and maybe they can implement. Is that it is important to stick to what your academics is. If you don't choose the path of the academic, if you're not serious about your academics, I don't think so any other survival skill will even matter. Yeah. So I think it is important, and you being into your studies is something that has made you what you are today. So yeah, the stone architecture, we really want to know more what Cardiff is.
Yeah. So Cardiff it's a old architectural city. It also has new contemporary style architecture, modern architecture styles. But my university in special, so where when I took a cab from my accommodation to my university after my field trip, and I was supposed to go to class, I was so amazed by the area the university was in. It's so lush and green.
Wow.
And it was cold though, but
of course, fringe benefits of being in a country
cold
like that.
regions, yeah.
Right.
But then when I walked in there, the first thing I saw or noticed on that grand kingdom-like facade of my university, of my building.
Right.
So university has different buildings. So the one that is for architecture, first thing I noticed was a red colored dragon on top of the building. So dragon is an animal that has a special place for Cardiff, and it's also on his flag. So that's how I try to relate, simple things that is shown evidently on what that city is about. And that also kept me on this quest of, okay, what the city is gonna give me, or what am I gonna know about it. How it's also a thrill about living in a different country where there's no one to tell you what to do.
Right.
You can do whatever you want on your own.
But still you stick to what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was everything that kept me on a track, and that's how I sustained there.
So I think that the red flag dragon, is there a story behind it, or like it's their flag, or it's like is there a story behind it or no?
There would be, but I don't know actually.
Yeah, the flag and the architecture impressed you the more.
Yeah. No, actually it was not a flag, it was a dragon. Red colored dragon that was sitting on top of it with its flared wings.
Wow.
Looking down to the entrance, and it's like, okay, I am entering and dragon is looking at me.
Interesting. That is so nice. I think this is what also attracts, and that should also be considered by all the students who aspire to have international education, is to have a great campus. If you don't know the facility, you can Google it online and see it. Though this hands-on experience might not be possible, but then I think it is prime for all the students to actually know the location and research about the campus, because if you pay the huge chunk of money and then you're studying in a building with closed doors, I don't know what education you're going to have. So the right research of your campuses, university areas is evidently important.
It is.
I'm so sure of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And also the building was quite old, but when we move into the facilities are brand new. They have, like, for architecture, they have different model making, 3D. Even they have 3D printers, and I think there would be very few universities in India which would have 3D printers, which can print our designs into it. So they have 3D printers, and also I remember one of my particular classrooms had glass pitch roof. So sitting in those classrooms, they didn't have chairs. That classroom had tables, and with a glass pitch roof, and all of the walls had a television for us to showcase our design, to talk about it. So that class was one of my favorites.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It would be like a very overwhelming and different experience, I guess, because it's so lovely to. I guess that's what artistics gets the inspiration from, maybe the open nature and even the facilities have to be top notch. I mean, like the 3D printers, the way you say, I'm sure that not every university in India might be having it, but then choosing the right option that's why so important.
Yeah.
The glass pitch room added everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was in my first class. I was just looking for 5-10 minutes. I was just looking at, okay, it's a nice view up there.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, students, another important point, if you're listening, is make sure that you go to a university where you have facilities, correct infrastructure, and it is so important to build your competencies accordingly. If you don't have the right resources, I'm not really sure where you'll end up.
Yes.
And talking about the land up, and information for all the viewers here, she is someone who has done her internship in United Nations, moving to the UN.
Okay, wow.
Wow, right? Tell us everything about it, like everything about UN.
Okay, so I would start up how I landed there firstly.
Please.
So actually we had an open day, there was an open day at one of the biggest firms in all over the world, architecture firm in London. And so one side I was finishing my masters, and the other side I was looking for job opportunities in UK itself. And so networking is one of the key essentials, and specifically in our field, because that's how I think it's all in all of the fields. But networking, and especially it's very important for international students to network with people, because then they would get to know us and what strength and capabilities we have.
True.
Yeah. So taking this opportunity to network with people and my aim was to get a job in that company. So I went there to open day, and also I'm a big fan of his designs and everything. So I went there with the goal of that, but there I met people from whom I got to know that, okay, UN, United Nations also have architecture internships. Until before, I never knew.
Right.
I knew that they have they do work in architecture and urban developments, but I never knew that we can actually go there and, have, work there as an architect. So that's where I got a chance to know about it. The next thing I do is I go home and I look for the opportunities there.
Okay.
And I applied for the position, and I got back. I heard from them, and that's how I accepted the offer. It was a long process though.
But still worth it, right?
Yeah, it's worth it. Anyways, government bodies or organizations.
True.
Even that's a big organization, non-profitable organization. So it takes time. It took me, I think, 2 to 3 months.
Right.
But so eventually, that's how I got landed a job opportunity there, an internship opportunity in UN, United Nations. So by networking, that's how I got I got to travel from UK to US,
right.
and that too in New York.
Lovely.
A wonderful city, yeah.
Of course, I think that this is what every student has to know, that it's not important for you to just make your resumes, but to correctly sell your resumes is, I think, equally important. If you don't network it right, if you don't ask the right questions, I don't think so it is going to make sense.
And it's also different what we make resumes here, how the market or the field in here would ask us to do it, or what requirements it is. It's very different from here to there. Although the field is same, the sector is same, but the way of working and everything is different. Right. So it's very essential to identify how the field works in that particular country, and to alter your CV and resume and whatever it requires to land a job, to do it in their way. Because that's how the system works there, and we have to follow it if we want to have a job there.
Right. And so I think that what I understand from this is that you really worked hard. You focused on your academics, right? And then you had the right consultants.
Yes, of course. I think that that's the base of it.
No, but Devanshi, seeing your journey today, what I feel is that every international student must be making the right decisions at a right time. You had to wait for 2 months, but then at the end of the day, you knew that something bigger was coming your way. So, waiting for 2 months or 3 months to have the UN opportunity was worth, and then the working there. So how was your experience? How was working with United Nations?
Working there, first of all, I never worked in that situation or that area of work environment. It was very new to me, and I think I don't know, it's very difficult to describe, but it's also a very diplomatic environment that we have over there. Plus too many issues related of work, of how world is, what's happening in the world there, and what's needed the most, what's first to look upon. So that I got to know more about it. Also, it's working in an architecture field over there. I got to see the architecture, a building that's 80 years old but still works, fully functional and essential, up to date till now, and it's still working and it's gonna work. So how it was made with a vision to what it is being, how it is run.
Right.
And so I got to see of how people in 80s would be working, to how 80s people had a cubicle of their own, a small tiny office, to people working in an open space.
Right.
So that's how all of our even communities or people are evolving in workplaces have evolved.
True.
So that's what I learned in particularly my field. But other than that, I really got an opportunity. UN gives an opportunity to all of their interns to be a part and to explore different fields. So I got an opportunity to sit in all of the meetings which are not disclosed or enclosed. To sit in them and listen to any political, economic, or social forums, even the meetings that happen in the GA hall and different chambers, economic, social, and political forums, political chambers. So yeah.
Right.
It was a really great experience. 6 months over there, it was totally worth it.
I'm sure it is, because the way you're describing, even we were pretty much in the journey. Like we could see the 80-story building, and then how your journey could be out there. So I think that's big, and I think that you rightly deserve all the credits that you take for being there. So the question, Devanshi, is that if you had a chance to redo your masters, right, would it still be UK and US or India? What difference in education you felt, and how did it shape you?
I've done my bachelor's from India, so I know my bachelor's is 5 years. So I know the system here in my field is it's very practical education, I think.
Right.
And back there in UK, my education was theoretical. My master's was theoretical. It's not more of practical, I would say, but it's theoretical, having my own opinion on what I have to say on the study that I'm doing or whatever. But here in India, it's more about of how to do it, and more about basics. It's also a thing that here I did my bachelor's and there it was master's. So I'm not comparing it, but I think here the education is more practical and there it's theoretical. So it depends upon a person what they want and
What their aspirations are, correct?
Yeah. And I think the same is in US as well. I don't have much educational knowledge about it, but
right.
I think they're too it's more theoretical based than practical based.
Right. Now, this is one of the very path-breaking statement that you just gave us, because we see a lot of students, like we get this inquiry every day, Devanshi, where they're like, hey, here we don't have the correct exposure, here we lack that practical training. So I think that it depends on the right research and the aspiration of, what they want, how they want it. So it is really important. I think that also comes down to consultants as well, that we need to provide you a great platter of options with the corrective subjects, with corrective knowledge on the subjects that could be taught to you, the core electives and everything.
Yes.
It's very important even for the counselors to have the right knowledge, because if everyone will say that India is not practical and it's just theory, I think here you prove them wrong. You are a really live example of how things are. So students, please take a strict note about it, that it's not just about the practical or theory, but it's about the aspiration, it's about your career pathway plan, and you should be planning it accordingly. Please ask right questions to the counselors, get the knowledge on the subjects, universities, and then make a decision. Because I think when you said theoretical, I was still looking at you. I'll go like, okay, theory, because even as consultants, we have that mindset that they don't have any theory. So, like it is important. I think that the notion that comes with education is not just the practical or theory, but it is the blend or the formulation of both.
Both, yeah. I think both of them are required in order to, succeed. Yeah.
Right. So I think this notion has to go on. Right knowledge of counselors is the prime. Students, please understand that if you don't ask the right questions, I don't think so that you will be able to make the correct decision. Ask the subjects, understand, research. They, I think, mention everything. They have the education pattern. If I ask about UK, Devanshi, do they give you any subjectives, or like how the syllabus is to go, or how the teaching happens there, basically?
Yeah, they give a brief scenario of what they are gonna teach and what would be the subjects and everything. But the teaching, I think teaching is only when you come into live frame and you get to know what teachers are gonna study. But they do give examples of their last year students and their previous year. They have books and journals on their website. I think in that sector, whatever information I've gotten from you guys from choosing university to the course description and everything's on the website, and with your help as well, it's much more clearer of what type of course that particular school would give.
Right. I think that that's how international students actually have an edge abroad. Is they get the debriefing about what exactly they are to study and how it is to happen. They might not give you the presentations, but I think that the work and the journals and everything make a lot of difference out there.
Yeah,
it does, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, interesting. That is really nice to know. Devanshi, any messages for the students who are going to study or who are there? Like, would you like to say some words to them, like some motivational words, or the reality words if they are not motivational enough? Anything?
Yes, sure.
Please do so.
The reality is that if you go there, if you really want to go there, you need to work hard. That's the option. That's not an option. That's the only way to walk through the path that you are gonna choose. And so I would say you have to keep up with all of the university things that are happening, and also networking is a key. Don't miss that point.
Noted, duly noted, ma'am. So I think that I would pretty much summarize this lovely episode of us, though I would really not want to stop talking to you, Devanshi. It's so good to have you here. But I think that this is what Saarthi wants to give to students, is a live experience about how your journey will be there, like from their career pathway plans to making sure that they pick the right university. It's not that we are the deciders for you, but at least we have to be the correct facilitators to do it. And like Devanshi said, work hard, be patient enough for the opportunities to come, but then don't stop networking. And focus on your academics, right? Your academics is the lead forward.
Yes, that's what we are going for, right?
At the end of the day, yes. Right, Devanshi, thank you so much for being part of this episode. It was lovely having you here.
It was my pleasure too.
Thank you.